Why was Jungkook not present at Dodgers Stadium with Taehyung? A shocking statement that made ARMY cry. A major surprise emerged in the midst of the euphoria surrounding BTS's Taehyung's appearance at Dodgers Stadium, when Jungkook suddenly gave a reason why he was not present to accompany his fellow group member. A statement that was short yet full of meaning quickly spread across various social media platforms, leaving a big question in fans' minds. Was Jungkook's absence merely a personal decision, or was there something deeper behind it? The public was initially left wondering, why, at such an important moment when Taehyung stood before thousands of eyes to perform the first pitch full of symbolism, was Jungkook nowhere to be seen? Wouldn't the presence of a fellow member have shown strong solidarity and support? This question then spread wildly among ARMY, until finally Jungkook himself chose to speak up. A step that not only answered the curiosity, but also stirred a wave of deep emotions. In his statement, Jungkook emphasized that his absence was not due to indifference or a distance formed among members, but rather for more personal and emotional reasons. He admitted that he did not want to turn Taehyung's important moment into a stage that could potentially divert attention. That was Taehyung's day. I wanted the world to see him, standing alone, and shining in his own way, was essentially the core of Jungkook's statement. That simple sentence struck ARMY's hearts with mixed feelings of emotion, admiration, and deep sadness. Fans fell silent for a moment. On one hand, there was pride because Jungkook showed such high respect for Taehyung. Yet on the other hand, there was a sense of loss because his absence at that historic moment seemed to create a visual gap that was hard to accept. Reflective questions then arose. Was Jungkook's sacrifice to remain behind the scenes truly necessary, or did it only add speculation about the relationship among the members? This situation quickly developed into a major discussion within the global ARMY community. Social media was filled with emotionally charged posts. Many wrote that Jungkook's decision was a form of silent love, a support that does not always have to be shown through physical presence. However, not a few also argued that Jungkook's absence only added emotional distance between him and the fans who wanted to see them together at that important moment. Can Jungkook's action be called a sacrifice? Or on the contrary, does this show the fragile side of a global star who is always burdened with expectations? Jungkook's statement revealed the human side of an idol who has always been under the spotlight. He honestly conveyed that sometimes stepping back is the truest form of support. His seemingly simple words emphasized that friendship and togetherness do not always need to be displayed in public. But doesn't that step also open space for wild interpretations that could be misunderstood by outsiders? From a media perspective, this moment showed how narratives surrounding BTS are not only shaped by what is seen on stage, but also by absences and personal choices behind the stage. Jungkook's absence became a headline just as big as Taehyung's presence itself. Is this proof that the public has become accustomed to consuming behind-the-scenes dramas? Or are we, as consumers of information, too quick to link every detail with emotional drama? It is undeniable that ARMY worldwide reacted with overflowing emotions. Many expressed sadness with statements such as, "We wanted to see them standing together." But was that sadness born from genuine love, or from excessive expectations unconsciously placed upon the idols? This is a reflection that should prompt us all to think critically. Jungkook's statement ultimately highlighted the great dilemma faced by every celebrity, between giving happiness to the public or preserving personal integrity. However, his decision created such a deep emotional effect. For some ARMY, the tears were not just because of Jungkook's absence, but because they felt they saw another side of him, a human being who also struggles with difficult choices. Now, the remaining question is, should we continue to see this event as an emotional drama between two friends, or as an important lesson that every individual, even a global star, has the right to determine his own space and time? Isn't this also a moment for ARMY and the public to learn to respect the personal boundaries of their idols, without always demanding visual togetherness? This article invites you, the readers, to reflect. Do ARMY's tears reflect genuine love, or are they actually a reflection of expectations that are too high toward Jungkook and Taehyung? Was Jungkook's statement truly born from honesty, or merely a communication strategy designed to calm speculation? And furthermore, have we been critical and skeptical enough in responding to every narrative coming from the entertainment industry? Or are we still easily swept away by dramatization played by the media? One thing is certain, Jungkook's absence at Dodgers Stadium and his emotional statement have opened a wider space for discussion. Not only about BTS, but also about how we as audiences, fans, and consumers of information respond to every event. In the end, isn't what matters more how we learn to remain critical, reflective, and not easily carried away by emotional waves alone? Jungkook's statement, said to explain his absence at Dodger Stadium, and claimed to have made ARMY cry, suddenly dominated timelines. But was that explosion of emotion born from confirmed facts, or merely from fragments of narrative cut and spread without context? Are we facing an authentic explanation from a primary source, or a mass interpretation that has been prematurely accepted as truth only because it is repeated endlessly? Before believing, would we not ask, where is the complete statement, when was it delivered, and through which official channel? Maturity in information demands discipline and verification. Is there a written release, full recording, or confirmation from management that can be traced and cross-checked? If the phrase "it was Taehyung's day" spreads widely, are we seeing the full transcript containing the sentences before and after? Are the dates, locations, and mediums consistent across all uploads, or do they vary, indicating layers of interpretation? If even such basic consistency has not been met, is it appropriate to draw emotional conclusions so quickly? The next question touches on motive and framing. Is the narrative that Jungkook stepped back to give the stage a factual explanation, or a construction pleasing to public expectations? Who benefits when the diction of sacrifice is raised without verification? Fans who feel touched, content creators who gain impressions, or the ecosystem of sensationalism that once again gains a supply of topics? If this explanation is indeed true, why didn't official channels present it comprehensively from the start? In the midst of floods of posts on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, do we differentiate between testimony and comment, between direct quotes and paraphrases? Do dramatic thumbnails and hyperbolic titles quietly lower our standard of skepticism? When a single short video sparks millions of views, does its validity increase in proportion to the number of viewers? Or does it in fact demand even greater caution because of the echo effect of algorithms? We also need to weigh rational alternatives. Perhaps Jungkook's absence was triggered by personal schedules, management policy, health, or security considerations, factors common in the global entertainment industry. If such reasonable options are not considered, are we choosing the most emotional narrative simply because it feels more satisfying? Has the comfort of drama displaced the simpler probabilities that attract fewer clicks? The psychological impact on the audience should not be underestimated. Do ARMY's tears reflect genuine empathy, or is it rather the effect of framing that directs emotions toward a single interpretation? Does confirmation bias, the desire to see Taekook in a certain frame, cause us to filter out contradicting evidence? If the viral clips support our hopes, does that prove truth, or merely mirror our emotional preferences? Ethically, should we normalize spreading statements whose origins are unclear? Have content creators clearly labeled unverified, or are they chasing engagement by obscuring the status of the information? If later an official clarification appears and differs from the initial narrative, are the channels that viralize the story ready to make corrections with equal visibility? If not, doesn't this add to the burden of misinformation that harms all parties? Let us scrutinize the framework of data. Are there more than one independent sources with credible track records presenting identical material, audio, video, context? Do the metadata of uploads, date, time zone, location, align with the schedule of publicly known activities? Do the body language, background sounds, and speaker's identity in the video match the claim of Jungkook's statement? Or could they possibly originate from another moment being repurposed? At the media level, absence perceived as drama often becomes more appealing than the main achievement of the event itself. Are we incentivizing narratives of conflict, jealousy, grief, sacrifice, because they clearly sell better? If so, are we aware that our content consumption behavior shapes a news ecosystem that is increasingly sensational? Are we willing to change that pattern by giving more attention to official sources, primary references, and measured analysis? It must be remembered, the materials we refer to come from various platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and others. whose character is fast, fragmented,